What's good, man? How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. And you?
Listen, I was just saying before you got in here, this started as an event that we used to do out here in LA, and we were
Uh-huh.
starting to do it in other places. We've been doing this in the crib for almost a year now. So
Really?
it's kind of wild, it's like, and you are our 90th episode here. So we're getting up on
Oh,
that
okay.
milestone episode.
Woo! Woo!
But but how are you? What is your how would you describe the last year in Mike Geronimo's life?
I mean, it's probably been as much of a roller coaster as everybody else in the world at this point. The good thing, thank God, my we've been for the most part okay, and we kind of dodged the COVID bullet thus far, knock on wood, and other than that, it's just like everybody else, one day at a time, and keeping your spirits up. And I think we successfully have been doing that. So I'm all right, bro. I appreciate it. What's up with you? What are
Man,
you?
well, that's great to hear. That's really good. Shout out to everybody in the chat. If you guys have questions for Mike Geronimo at the end of the show, drop them in that little question box, and we'll do a little Q&A.
Yeah.
But you asked. I've been good. A lot of people have asked me what the scene, like what the vibe is like out in LA, and I tell them, you probably know about as much as I do because I don't leave the crib. I do not I stay inside unless I
Well,
have to.
yeah.
Yeah. So we're maintaining and pivoting as we need to. So it's all any of us can do.
Yeah, exactly. And as long as you're in one piece, man, as long as you find the laughs where you could get them, and you just, like I said, one day at a time. But we're gonna get through it. We'll all get through it.
Absolutely.
We'll get through it.
So it's an honor to have you on the show. Obviously, you were very prompt to get in there. Normally, I talk the guests up a little bit more while I'm like trying to kill time, waiting for them to come in to the room. But I didn't get to fully sing your praises here. But obviously, you are a name that is synonymous with an aesthetic of hip hop and a time and an era in hip hop that means so much to people. It's like there's a lot of debate over the golden age and what the golden age is, but your name and the work that you've done in your career at the very beginning, people are still, obviously we have people watching this, and I saw you on Drink Champs late last year. People want to know what's going on with Mike Geronimo, so we're really thrilled and happy to have you here. And shout out to Nope, the plug for
Shout out to my sis. Nope, I love you, but you know that. So I'm really appreciative. I'm glad to be here. The pressure's on though, because I've seen what you do.
Well, I have two responses to that, and one is this is a competition a little bit, but really this is a celebration. And we've had a lot of people, we've had very high profile guests who have DM'd me and been like, yo, I'm nervous. And what I always say is listen, this is a celebration, not just of your career, but also of your identity as a fan, because we're all fans of this shit. You wouldn't be in the position that you're in if you didn't love this music, this craft, this culture. So if that helps you at all, I mean, listen.
Sure, that's amazing. I'm touched that you just expressed that to me, but I have a whole room of people on Clubhouse that are gonna annihilate me because of the lack of knowledge that I may not have. So the pressure's on, but we're gonna do this.
Well, you didn't let me finish. I was about to say, and you may get annihilated. So
yeah.
But what I will say is that we sort of have two schools of thought on this game with our guests who play. There are some guests who are like, yo, I'm going solo for dolo. If I don't know the answer, then fuck it, I don't know. And then we have guests who rely on the chat here on Instagram. They'll look down. So
so there's lifeline moments is what you.
There is a lifeline.
Okay.
We won't judge either way. Just know that you have the option in your pocket. The option is there.
Okay. Again, no pressure.
No pressure. Annihilation on the line, but beyond that, good.
Walk in the park.
Walk in the park. But
Walk in the park.
if you're gonna walk in the park, make sure you wear a mask right now. It's very
Right.
important.
At all times. Wait, should I grab one now just for like? Nah, we're all right. We're all right.
Well, are you ready to do this? Should we hop
I
into this?
am. I am. I am.
All right, we got Mic Geronimo in the place. Again, if you guys have questions for him, drop them in that little question box. We always have a good time at the end. Let's get into it. Our first round is our multiple choice round called The Choice Is Yours. This is our general multiple choice. We're going to be touching all, facets of hip hop trivia here.
Okay. No pressure.
No pressure. Here we go. First question. On Nothing But a G Thing, Snoop Dogg mentions that he's realer than this boxer. Is it Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Muhammad Ali, or Roy Jones Jr.? So we're testing your lyric knowledge here. Who does Snoop Dogg say?
I'm going to go with B. I'm going to say Evander Holyfield.
He says B. Let's see if he's right, folks. There it is. There it is, folks.
Look at that.
I mean, we got to start.
Jump right in the water. You have to just jump in and swim. You see? So I'm going with that, and look how it's going.
Absolutely. Obviously, iconic song. He's talking about being realer than real deal Holyfield. One of your imminent first songs that kind of put you on the map was also about realness. It was "Shit's Real" from your first album, like I said, you've kind of been making the rounds a little bit more lately. You've been a little bit more prominent. What is your relationship like with old songs? Like, have you gone through a point where like you feel sick of some of the songs that people are always going to be like, yo, if we got Mic Geronimo in the spot, like, please can you do Shit's Real? Or like how has that changed for you? Like, did you go through phases of like, I love this song, now I hate this song, or like, what's that like?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you pretty much described it the best way you could. Like, it's not so much that I hate the song, but it's just I think it's more so that you just know it back, forth, left, right, up, down, sideways, and you've done it in like every possible cadence and at every possible tempo. And there's been those moments where somebody cut it short and then they threw a break beat in. But then the older I got, after I think once I developed more of a truer sense of appreciation for things as a whole, then I would look at it and say, well, guess what? It's because of this that, your life's turned out the way it has. So you can't really be upset that you were fortunate enough to make something that people consider to be a staple in their timelines. And then, if you look at it in that aspect, it's like you kind of owe it to them to like never get tired of it, because that's massive to be able to play a part in someone else's life. That's crazy. That's more than I would have ever asked for, so you get through it. But yeah, you do get bored of certain things. You do.
Right. Especially too, I'm sure with like perspective and more, years in this business, a lot of even very talented people don't even get that one. They don't get their own Shit's Real, or they don't get their own, like staple songs. So, I mean, I understand both sides of it for sure.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, like you can't help but at some point feel monotonous, because we're all humans, and it's gonna be that way. And it's like if it were Groundhog Day for anyone, then they would kind of be like, at some point. But then, as I said, once you step back and you look at the big picture and you realize that that song is part of somebody's soundtrack, even if it's just one person, and that's an amazing opportunity to be given, so you owe it to them to always be ready to give them that moment and give them that song.
Well, I can assure you that it is on the soundtrack to more than just one person, Mic Geronimo. I mean, I think you're being a little modest here, but we don't have obscure, 90s song you may have heard of. This is, But again, no pressure.
Yo,
No,
stop.
no pressure. No pressure. Walk in the park. Walk in the park.
Walk in the park.
Walk in
Walk
the
in the
park.
park.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, we're walking in the park with Mic Geronimo right now on the Questions Hip Hop.
That's right.
All right, let's get into the second question here. The first single from Bad Boy Records was produced by who? Was it Puff Daddy, Lord Finesse, Easy Mo B, or Chucky Thompson? So this is a little bit of a hybrid question because you have to know what the first single released on the label was.
You went 0 to 100 real quick, bro. Like, this is not at all. It's like you went from the bunny trail to the diamond trail immediately. You can't do like, oh my God.
I respect your adherence to the park trail motif, though. You're definitely.
Right. I'm trying to keep it consistent. I believe it's Easy Mo B.
Okay, so he with a little bit more hesitance in the last one. He's going with Easy Mo B. Let's hear that first single. This is the first. I see some people in the comments and they're talking about other songs that featured Bad Boy artists, but we're talking about.
I'm kind of ready to do this slowly and just disappear.
So he says Easy Mo B. The first single released officially by Bad Boy was by an artist named Craig Mack, and it was The Flavor in Your Ear, and it was in fact produced by Easy Mo B.
See? Look at that. Look at that. Look. Babe, I deserve steak right now.
Wow.
Sorry about that.
It's a little late for steak. I mean, I can't tell you how to do it.
Never.
All right, never too late for steak. You obviously there was you weren't on Bad Boy per se, but you were intertwined in a lot of the Bad Boy legacy in your career. Can you guys speak on that a little bit?
Yeah, it was really cool. Shout out to everyone from Bad Boy, like the Hitman, Easy Mo, D-Dot, Nasheem, Harv. Shout out Harv Pierre.
Yeah.
Shout out Puff, the family forever. You know, my cousin Barnes. It was weird, bro, because I try to sometimes remember like what the exact day or moment was where I met them, and the earliest recollection I have is, I want to say, the Flavor in Your Ear video. And I remember we went there and we were like with them like the whole day, you know, like the entire day. And it just from the moment I got around them, it just felt like it was family, and they treated me that way. And, you know, Harv was like, yo, we need to work together. And I was excited, and I was like, yeah, because at that time I had heard the Craig Mack joint, and I was kind of like, yeah, I would love to do that. And then I see people talking about the light being bright, and it's not my fault. Like, I'm sorry. But so then it started with us working, you know, like on the Master IC remix. Shout out to Lost Boys, they got involved, and that made it all more feel like family, because like Cheeks and the Lost Boys I pretty much had grown up with. So it was my opportunity to work with people that I knew most of my life as a teenager and a kid. And then, you know, to combine that with working with Bad Boy. And granted, yeah, like, you know, I was aware of what Bad Boy was, but I don't think that it's like you could know something but not really know. Like, you're just in that moment and you're there.
Too close. You're too close sometimes.
Right. And I was just there, and I, more than anything, just really loved and appreciated the fact that they had love and appreciation for me. So it was a really organic thing with Bad Boy. And it was just crazy because like, I remember Puff letting me hear songs like before he was gonna put them out, and like asking me what I thought. And, you know, in my head I'm like, why are you asking me? Like, what is it? But it was cool because I realized that he was genuinely like, yo, you my bro, I'm asking you like what you think. So I just, you know, they their family, and I'm gonna always be thankful for that, and the experiences of working with them and being around them, like priceless, bro, priceless.
I want to revisit something that you just said and kind of glossed over, that like you were there when they shot the music video for Flavor in Your Ear.
Oh yeah, we
Like,
were.
can we not just like gloss over that piece of hip hop
No,
history?
not the remix. Like we had went to the shoot for the remix, and I have like a small cameo myself and Irv Gotti in the remix video.
Right, of course.
But that day is like, if I, like I said, if I try to remember, okay, when did it all come about? Like that's the earliest memory that sticks out. I met Big prior, I mean, way before that. But in terms of like, you know, being at that label and meeting the people that were at that label, it would have been that.
Yeah. Did it feel, I know you said that like sometimes it's hard to like understand the scale and like the relevance when you're so close to it. And obviously hindsight is 2020, but when you were there and you appeared in the music video and you were there, did it feel like a moment, or was it just like, oh, this is like another music video? Like this is cool.
It kind of felt like it was surreal, but I think most things to me at that point in time were surreal. Like,
right.
Because it's kind of like, all right, just yesterday I was hanging with my friends and I was doing X, Y, and Z or whatever it was, and just being a teen, not really knowing what I wanted to do. And then the next moment, you know, you're in this world that you were watching, you know, coming home from school on TV and stuff. So
right.
I just think with me, I didn't so much pay attention to the here and now of it as much as I did with, well, can I vibe with these people or not? And I did, you know, and everyone I met was like the coolest person in the world. And so I just ran with that, you know, and I didn't so much look or think about anything else. So I was just like, wow, okay.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yes, people are saying that it was a long time ago. It was mad. Everybody was mad young. Yes, it was. The video was in black and white because it was so long ago that was
right. Like galaxy far, far away. Right. Like my kids would think it was like when the Neanderthals were roaming Earth, apparently.
It was not long after. I think that the ice was still melting from the ice age, and everybody was like, "Okay, now we're gonna shoot this video." Like,
all but one dinosaur left, and then we shot the video. Exactly.
You guys wanted to get the dinosaur for the video, but he was double booked that day. He was actually in the Bronx, and he couldn't get down to. Yeah, it was.
Yo, it's crazy. I live with it though, bro.
All right, we're gonna move on to our third question. We got Mic Geronimo in the hot seat tonight on the questions.
Oh, that's right, questions.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, somebody pointed out. I think Denise pointed out. I think we have twin chairs here. We got twin chairs.
Yo, is it not the best chair ever?
It's pretty good, fam. It's pretty good.
Is it not?
It's you know, I enjoy it. I have notoriously bad posture, so like every chair is a little like uncomfortable for me sometimes, but this one has definitely yeah.
I could game in this chair for hours on end, bro.
Here's the thing, I'm not even a gamer, but I do spend a lot of time at my desk, like in the studio here. So I just was like, well, what, like, I like looked into another world of like, well, like if I'm gonna take chair advice, I should take it from gamers because they sit a lot. And
See, I'm not alone, right? Because that was my logic. I said, yo, I could get a regular chair, which is just crazy because if you're going to sit here and fucking play games, why don't you get a chair that they would get? Not disappointed at all, bro.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we may play games here on the questions, but we don't play games when it comes with our chairs.
Right. And that's what's most important.
Absolutely.
All right, so let it go.
DJ Marquis points out that I think when we had Just Blaze on the show, he also had the same chair. So this is like a fraternity, if you will.
Really?
You know? Yep.
That's for real?
Yeah.
Yo, bro, that's cosmic. Just, I don't know.
Watch The Throne. You know, just watch The Throne. That's what we're talking about.
You have to help because apparently you're involved too. So, yeah.
All right. enough chair talk. This is a spin-off show. We'll do an after show where we just talk about chairs all night.
About shit all day. I'm
yeah.
there.
We're going to move on to our third question.
Okay.
Yeah, Denise says we should get a sponsorship. Maybe. We'll see.
Right?
Which of these rappers did not appear on the 1998 Belly soundtrack single, The Grand Finale? This was the single from the Belly soundtrack. Was it?
I remember.
All right, you tell me.
Wait, I said I remember the song. I didn't necessarily say I remember the whole entire cast. Okay.
So let's
which
talk
of
through
them
this.
is not on the song?
Right, all but one of these guys is on there. So we have Redman, Method Man, Ja Rule, and DMX. One of them was not on this song from the soundtrack.
All right, I know Meth was on it.
Okay.
I know it was Rule's song. I remember that.
Okay.
It would be crazy for X not to be on it. So I'm gonna go with Redman.
He says Redman. Redman is correct.
All right, so inside voice. I'm not nervous at all anymore, okay? Because I just got 3 questions right, which is way more than I even expected myself to do. So, yeah.
Let's see. Listen, I don't want to get too deep in your head, but like there's a pacing here, you know, where we may turn the heat up. I don't
all right. I retract my last statement. I'm gonna yank that back.
So
I see how to.
Listen, I need to constantly keep you in a state of feeling very good about this, but then like protecting you in case there's like something
This
around.
Is psychological.
It's very psychological.
Oh,
mad psychological. Listen, this was a a big posse cut as they were called back at the time. Maybe they still call them posse cuts. You had the distinction of having, I think, 2 of the guys, two of the guys that were on this song on a song that you did very early in your career. You had Jay, DMX, basically what was called Murder Inc. Unofficially or officially at the time. Well, tell us about that. I'm sure you've answered this before, but like I just want to know like your hindsight. Like what was that whole experience like getting that crew together?
I mean, like honestly, it wasn't at all hard to get us all together because Gotti was the hub between all of us. So we all pretty much met via Gotti. So the first one I met was Rule, and when I met Rule, we hit it off immediately, and I actually knew my man Chris Black, who Rule was in a group with called Cash Money Click.
Yep.
And so I met them first, and we was like birds of a feather, you know, like we clicked, and you know, I met X and I met Hove, and it was pretty much the same thing. And Gotti had made the beat for the first go round, which was Time to Build.
Yep.
And I think he played it for me. I think one time he had played it for me. I was like, okay. And then he played it with them on it. Like I knew Rule was putting a verse to it, but he told me that X and Hope put verses to it. And then he played them. And I was like, yeah. And I remember he played X verse first, and he said some crazy shit like, I'm peeling it with oranges, hit them in the head with 2x4s and shit. I'm a grimy nigga, and he was just going berserk. And I was just like, wow, I never heard anyone spit like that before. And then he played Hove's verse, and I was like, yeah, that's the Can I Get Open dude, because I knew of him from Original Flavor, and I knew of him from being with Jazz, the originator.
Yeah, like, originators.
Right.
Hawaiian Sophie. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, so I was familiar with him, but I didn't know it was him when I first heard it. And then when I heard it again, I was like, he's like, yeah, that's Hov, that's Jay, da. And then he told me they was going at each other. And I was like, word? And he was like, yeah. He was like, listen. So he played X verse. And now I'm picking up on the fact that he's like throwing little pot shots at Hov.
Right.
He played Hov's verse, and I was like, oh, okay. And he's answering all his pot shots. And I was just like, yo, that's crazy. And so the energy for the record was always there. You know what I mean? And it wasn't hard to group us together. And then as time went on and everybody got more asserted, then that's where I think Irv like seriously started to indulge in the thought of having like an actual Murder Inc.
Right.
But in terms of like getting all of us together to work, like to us, I know like I can't speak for anyone else, but I know for me, it just felt like you were going to the studio with your friends and you went and you did the song. And it again, everything we did for the most part on that album felt very organic. It felt very 1, 2, 3, you know.
You must feel in a situation like that you probably have the advantage that you heard all of their verses already written and then you wrote your verse, right? Like you wrote it after.
I felt no advantage whatsoever, sir.
Not even a little. Okay, all right, that's fair. I mean, probably worse because
bro,
now it's like the pressure.
What? I was terrified after I heard those verses. I was like, what? And then I just remember saying to myself, like, yo, whatever you say, you better say something. And then it was worse because Irv was like, yo, you the anchor. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, no pressure. So, but you know, it went the way it did. And to look back now and it's funny because I'll think about it now and it's so many things that happen that to step outside of yourself, it doesn't seem real.
Right. See,
so it's cool. It's some cool shit, bro. It's some cool shit. And I'm very appreciative of it.
This is why I don't take you seriously when you say that you're feeling pressure about doing this stupid hip hop trivia show. You were on a track with DMX, Jay-Z, and Ja Rule. Like, that's very flattering of you to say. But let me tell you something, Mike. I think that you've handled pressure well in the past. I think you're gonna do okay. You know? I'm just saying.
I'm hanging in. You know,
He's hanging.
Yeah,
3 for 3 right now. We're going to move on to the last question in our first round. Here we go.
Okay.
If Nas wins the best rap album for King's Disease at the Grammys next month, how many total trophies will he have to his name? So this is like we're really tying into modern times now here. So if Nas wins the best rap album Grammy next month for his last album, King's Disease, how many total Grammys will he have to his name? Will it be 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Oh my God, that's really. This is a Ken Jennings question. This isn't like a Mic Geronimo question. This is like, you know.
I might have accidentally pulled from the Ken Jennings bag. My bad.
Right, but hang on. I'm really wait.
Lot of action in the chat.
Timeline. Hello. Why? I need more timeline. More timeline.
Do you see the comments right now or no?
I do. I'm seeing some of them. I'm seeing. Okay. A lot of people are saying something that I find very hard to believe. Because it just doesn't feel right.
Sure.
But a lot of people on the timeline are saying it, so I am gonna.
What does your gut say too? Because I always.
I'm gonna go with A. I'm gonna go with 1.
Okay.
Because that's what.
He's a man of the people, you know, and the chat says 1, and Mike is saying 1, and the answer is 1 is absolutely correct. Believe it or not, folks. Great.
Really?
Nas has never won a Grammy.
So wait, what's the second album didn't win a Grammy?
He has not won a Grammy. It's kind of crazy. Sally Haskell points out it's a crime. You could say it's a crime.
Crazy, bro. I thought for certain that It was written, yeah, it was written.
It was written. He was written as a nominee, but he wasn't written as the winner.
And didn't like Stillmatic get nominated or something like that? Wasn't it one of those like after? It wasn't Nostradamus, but I think there was like one after that. That I can't remember if it was Godson or if it was. But didn't one of those get nominated?
He's been nominated plenty times. The thing is that Nazir Jones, one of the MCs, one of the premier MCs in the
Right.
game, has never taken home the trophy. And I don't know, like, I don't know how closely you follow like the Grammy nominations and stuff like that. To some degree, Grammys matter, and then to another degree, it's like whatever. Like the culture and award shows are sort of like two separate entities. But do you think that Nas is going to win? Do you think it's possible?
What for King's Disease?
For King's Disease, yeah.
It's a awesome album. Like
yeah.
I think of if you think of albums that have come out recently, relatively recently, it definitely stands out. So I mean, me personally, I think that without him, you wouldn't have a lot of the hip hop that you have now, because he came and he totally revolutionized how people execute, how people paint a picture. Like he was just this anomaly, and like I remember him going to Large Professor's crib every day, because like I lived right next to Large Professor, like, and I grew up with him. So like I remember the day they played It Ain't Hard to Tell. Like, and I could hear it while I'm in the elevator getting to his floor, and it's me and my brother in the elevator, right? And me and my brother in the elevator, I never forget it, and I hear it, and I'm like, yo, what the fuck is that? Because all we heard was ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba, and we just kept hearing that, and the closer we got to the door, because in the elevator, I remember being like, yo, that sounds like fucking Michael Jackson, bro.
Right.
Like, and so we got to the door, and Large and Nas are in the crib, and like Large would always be on the SP, hitting the buttons mad quick, like chop, 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 like breaking the beat down. And they played it, and I was just like, yo, I've never heard anything like this. This is gonna change the world. Like, that's exactly how I felt.
I mean, that, like, that is like, if we're saying like, if the Grammys are there to like recognize like seminal moments, like Nas has plenty of those, like he's had plenty of moments that are Grammy worthy. So, it's a tough, a lot of the
Wait, what album was One Mic?
One Mic was on, was that Stillmatic or Godson? Godson or still Godson? I think it was Godson.
Didn't he get like nominated or so? I thought he won an award for that one as well.
He's been nominated. I don't have the information in front of me, but he's been nominated so many times, but he hasn't got it. I think that this year could be the one, even though there's a lot of strong competition. Like the picks this year are pretty good. You got Royce. You got
yeah, I heard that earlier today that Royce is nominated.
Yeah, Royce is up. D Smoke, who's like the youngest person in the category, and I checked out his album. I wasn't like super up on him, and I checked it out, and it's very strong, very good. There's a Alchemist and Freddie Gibbs is up, so there's like a lot of like dope contenders this year. But I think that it's going to be Nas, even if like people might think that it isn't the strongest entry in the group. I think it's one of those like, it's time to give Nas his flowers. It's time to give him that award.
Hands down, like, and it's, I say it without any bias, just because I would consider him to be one of the people I was fortunate enough in life to meet and just to be around and say, like, it's crazy that somebody who innovated our music the way he did isn't like it. That's insane. That's like, it's like Rakim.
Right, but Rakim, as far as I know, I don't think Rakim has a Grammy. You know what I mean? Like,
I was gonna say it's kind of ill because it's like Rakim, but honestly, with that being said, I don't think that hip hop itself ever really put that much stock into the Grammys, just because we kind of all knew that the criteria that we use to measure greatness is not the criteria that someone else would use to measure it.
Absolutely.
And so even if he hasn't ever won a Grammy, like, you can never, no one on this planet can ever deny his impact, his innovativeness, his creativity, his contribution, and he's still doing it.
Yeah.
And he's still doing it. And so it's like, he's part of like that new rap Mount Rushmore in hip hop, and no one can take that from him. No one.
100% facts. 100% facts. Yes. All right, we're gonna move on, and we'll see next month. We'll be talking about this when, you know, and like, it's that weird thing where it's like, yeah, we don't really care about the Grammys, but we do want to see Nas win a Grammy.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like, even though, like I said, it's not like we felt that way because we just felt that way. No, we felt that way because when you first were watching the Grammys, a couple of people got nominated and won that you were like, this is not at all. It's
Yeah.
just not at all.
It
And
hurts
that,
the credibility.
exactly. And then, I mean, there's always been issues with that. And it's not just hip hop,
Right.
you know, and there's this whole change that's going on now where I think people are starting to listen so that they can recognize, you know. So
Yeah.
let's see where this goes, bro.
We'll see what happens, but we're gonna move into our second round now. The second round is called Picasso, baby.
Okay.
So in this round,
All right.
you like that? You're amused by this. This is good. All right.
No pressure.
No pressure. No pressure. Walk in the park.
Walk in the park. See, there we go.
All right. So listen, this round, I'm going to show you a cropped piece of an album cover, and you have to tell me what the album cover is by the little piece of it that you see. So we're testing your eyes now. So.
Which, yeah, those work great.
Well, I see you're pretty close to the phone, and you can lean in closer.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, first one. Here we go. What album cover is this? Is it A Tribe Called Quest: The Love Movement, Noriega, N-O-R-E, Fat Joe, Don Cartagena, or Third Base, Derelicts of Dialect? What album cover is that?
That is my family, bro. That is Noriega. That is N-O-R-E.
That is right. So, again, respectfully, I feel like I hadn't really, and a lot of the hip hop community and media had kind of not really heard a lot about what was going on with you until you did, Drink Champs last year. Like, not that they had never heard about what was going on with you, but you had been kind of quiet in the interim. So what was sort of the impetus to have you go on that show? And obviously Nori's fan, but like, what was like, I just was curious because I was watching it this week, and I was like, yeah, like, I'm kind of like, I wonder, like, why then? Like, why at that point did you decide to do that?
I just think, bro, like, everything is the right place and the right time. And I tell people, like, it's weird because he like kind of for a while was asking me to do the show. And initially, the first couple of times that I got asked, like, not whether it be directly or inadvertently, I kind of kept declining. And initially, I was like, you know, it'd be a hell of a lot different if I was working on something, or if I was active, and I had certain reservations about, well, I really don't talk about, what life is too much if I'm not asked. So I guess you would say I'm a private person to an extent. So I'm a bit of an introvert. I don't really go out. I like me, bro. I dig my kids and my family, my wife, and I'm like with them 9 times out of 10. So my frame of thought, when I was initially asked, I was kind of like, I don't see the reason to do it. And then when I thought about what might be asked, I was kind of like, all right, so I'm probably going to be asked about things that either whatever I answered about, that was my answer, or you know, I don't really have an answer because maybe I haven't asked myself enough about these things, you know.
Right, right.
So as fate would have it, a mutual friend of both of ours, two mutual friends, matter of fact, were having a birthday party, like at the same time. And I had promised one of them that I would come by, actually both of them. And I didn't even know he was gonna be there. Like, so when I got there, I think Nature was like the first person I saw. And that was cool. I didn't know Nate was gonna be there, and I didn't know Capone was gonna be there.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he was gonna be there. But he came up and he asked me point blank, and he's like, "Yo, come on, so you gonna dish me or not to the show?" And I was like, you know, like X, Y, Z, and he's just like, "Nah, bro, come get your flowers." And somewhere within the course of just being at the party, something just said, I just felt like, you know what, maybe if I do this, and maybe this is the place where I do answer all these questions that I never answered before, and maybe it's time for me to answer some of these questions.
Right.
So I just was like, yo, if I'm gonna do it with anyone, I'll do it with him. You
And
know?
what a great, I mean, at least from my estimation, like it seems like it was a great thing for you to do, because like it sort of, a lot of people said it was one of their favorite episodes. You know, it looked like you were having a good time. You know, like you stood up a couple
Yeah.
times to hug like Nori. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know
Like,
if
yo,
that's just because you guys were
I mean,
getting
yo,
increasingly drunk or
was
what.
there, yeah, I was gonna say, what round drink was that? Because that could have been round 2, or that could have been round 10. But it was cool, bro. Like I was pleasantly surprised, and I didn't feel like, I remember people asking like, yo, how do you feel like the next day? And I was like, first off, I don't really remember, because we were out till like 7 o'clock in the morning. So I was
Jeez.
like, yeah, we like went out. And so I was like, all right, I really don't remember most of, but then I remember having a feeling of, yo, it's okay. Like I had like a peace of mind, and I couldn't accurately remember all the things that I had gone into or all the things that I was asked, but I just felt like a presence of calm. And
That's great.
yeah, and it felt kind of like there was like weight off my shoulders, but I didn't know why I felt that way. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I mean, it probably just felt good to share your story and talk about
Yeah, and I pretty much, bro, like that's what I discovered. Like to this day, I never watched the entire thing.
it.
I watched like pieces. I listened to the podcast version of it,
Yeah.
but I mean, I was overwhelmed by the comments that people left, and I was like, there's no word to describe it. So I'm very thankful to anyone that saw it and felt the way they did. And I don't know, bro.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. I can't believe that like getting as drunk as you get on that show and then having to go out like that's actually my nightmare. Like I have nightmares because I'm not a big drinker at all. And like
No,
don't
me
really
neither.
like going out like you said. I
Right.
there is so like my biggest nightmare, like if you can think of like intimidating moments with artists, I like wake up, and this might be like delusions of grandeur here, but like I like wake up from nightmares where like I'm somehow like on Drink Champs and Nori's gonna make me drink, and I'm just like, no, I don't want to do it.
Nah, like I don't drink, so the one thing that I was kind of like, I was like, I think like maybe the only pre-planning I had, or premeditation rather, I might have had, was I was like, I know somebody gonna make me drink, so just pace that shit out, bro. Like if you have to do the mouth closed, look like you're drinking but not really drinking,
Ah,
you can do that at a certain
exclusives here,
right,
folks. We're taking you
right.
behind the
So,
curtain.
but then, like you said, we had such a good time, and it just started to feel like I forgot we was doing an interview, bro. Like
Right.
it genuinely just felt like we were all just sitting somewhere talking, and what came out came out.
Wonderful. Well, we're glad that you did it, and it was a great move. We're going to move on to the next question here. We're having such a great conversation here. I keep forgetting that there's a game to do here.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's right.
And
It's
I haven't
game
even gotten you
showtime.
drunk like Nori did. So I mean, like,
Right. I mean, I could fix that, like, but I'm not gonna do that. All right,
yeah.
let's go. I'm
Let's
ready.
keep it contained. All right. Second album cover here. Is it Large Professor's First Class, De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising, Tyler the Creator, Flower Boy, or is it Commons B?
Wow. That's okay. I know what it's not. It's not De La.
Okay. So we eliminated that one.
And okay, I see the Flower Boy, but that could be a trick question. B doesn't look like that.
Okay. So we've eliminated 2 for sure.
And I've known Large all my life and never known him to wear a shirt like that. So I'm gonna say, wait.
Think about it. Think about it.
I'm gonna back up. I might not park in that parking spot because I see a lot of. No, he actually did have a shirt like that. I'm going with Large. Here's why, because that's not Tyler's arm.
Which is a very good instinct to follow because that is Large Professor First Class, baby.
Yeah. Who's probably gonna kill me because he's gonna be like, how the fuck you gonna remember when I had on the Hawaiian shirt? Yeah.
Listen, it's not like you can't be responsible to remember every outfit that your friends have worn. You talked earlier about hearing it ain't hard to tell. What is your viewpoint on Large Professor in the canon of hip hop producers? Do you think that he's underrated or properly rated? I'm not going to say overrated because there's no way that he's overrated, but do you think he's underrated or properly rated?
I think, well, the only way I can say it is I've heard beats that he's put out, and I've heard beats that he just let us hear in the house. And I've been there to witness other producers come to him when they couldn't figure things out. And I'm not saying it because he's like a big brother to me or anything like that. Like, if you're going to call it like you see it, without him, there's so many people that you wouldn't have that are producers. If you didn't have him, there's an entire wave of producers that never would have came about. And he truly is one of the pioneers of the staple sound that New York City had. And I think that makes it all the more of an honor to be like, yo, that's my big brother.
What's your favorite Large Professor beat? Personal favorite?
He did, okay, of the beats that came out.
Yes. You can't just say like, oh, the track that I heard in 1996.
Right. So of the beats that came out, it would probably be Ain't Hard to Tell, only because I like I said, it was so much of a earth-shaking beat when I heard it, and it was just so different, and it was just so clever how he took the sample from Human Nature, and everything just felt like flawless. So I definitely think that's one of them. Hanging Out, I love. Hanging Out from his first album, I always loved that beat. I can listen to that beat forever.
I see a lot of great contenders in the chat as well. There's no wrong answers to that question.
No, and then like I said, there's things that I heard him do, like he did a joint for Nas called I'm the Man. Nas did a song called You're the Man, but years before You're the Man, did this song called I'm the Man. And the beat was fucking retarded. It was like the most ridiculous beat I've ever heard in my life up until that point. And it's crazy because if you watch Large when he's doing beats, it's almost like he's possessed because he's not at all concentrating on what he's doing. He is and he's not. He's just Like
His
he would
own.
sit there and just, and like I said, he would hit the keys on the SP, and you hear him like truncating and chopping shit, and you're like, well, that doesn't sound like it's shit. And then he'll hit the play button, and you are like, yo, you know what I mean? So I don't at all think that he receives the credit, the recognition, or the accolades that he truly deserves. To you know,
100%. 100%.
shout out to Lars, though. I love you, bro.
Shout out to Large Professor. Yeah. All right, we're gonna move on to the final question in our second round. It is a Busta Rhymes themed question. What album cover is this? Is it Busta Rhymes The Coming? Busta Rhymes When Disaster Strikes? Busta Rhymes ELE Extinction Level Event, or is it the Anarchy album? It's all Busta on the table tonight.
I think that's Anarchy.
He thinks it's Anarchy. Let's see, folks. Anarchy is correct. Mic Geronimo with a flawless score so far. He's got seven in a row.
Can I just, if you're in my room tomorrow and you know what room I'm talking about, you can't say anything. How many is that? 7?
7. So there are 15 total. So right now you're doing quite well. Is that an allusion to a certain clubhouse?
Yes, a certain gathering that takes place. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I might have to pop in there tomorrow.
This is yeah. You should pop in tomorrow because this is serious redemption right now. So
we can do a post game like breakdown afterwards. Like it could be like sort of like a 30 for 30, but we're just talking about what we did today, tomorrow.
Yeah. Why not?
We'll just be like, man, I'll never forget where I was when he answered the Busta Rhymes question.
Sure, you make it so easy, bro. Thank you.
I'm walking you through the park. We're looking out the front door and we're walking through the park.
That's it, right? Just hanging out. That's it.
That's what it is. All right, we're gonna hop into our third round here.
Okay.
Third round is called Digging in the Crates.
Okay. Something tells me that this one is all right. I'm ready.
This is the sample round. So this is all about samples. I'm going to play you samples. You're going to have to answer questions about the samples that you hear. So here we go. First one.
Okay.
The sample to Pharoah Monch's Simon Says comes from this monster film soundtrack. So I'm going to play you the Simon Says beat. You tell me what monster film soundtrack the sample comes from.
I got it.
He's got it. What is it?
It's Godzilla.
This is Godzilla. Let's hear it.
That's right. Oh no, the smart monster. No, right. See? What was the one with the 3 heads that he would fight?
Is it Ghidra or?
Right.
Yeah.
And it blew fire.
Yeah.
See?
That was I believe that Tragedy Gaddafi sampled the no, I'm just fucking around. That's not true. I was just trying to pass off some like bonus hip hop knowledge.
Damn. All right.
How much was speaking from a Queen's perspective, how much was Monch and Organized like on your radar at the time?
Oh man, they did Fudge Pudge, bro. They did a song called Fudge Pudge. Yep. So I knew about them. The first time I ever heard Organized Confusion was because of Video Music Box. There's a show that came on in New York City called Video Music Box that like everybody ran home after school to watch videos on, and Fudge Pudge would be on there 9 times out of 10. And that was like the first introduction I had to OC, who like later on in life is like a brother to me now. So it's kind of weird, but they were always on. And I remember they had a song called Who Stole the Last Piece of a Chicken or something like that.
Shout out to Mad Skills, who's referencing that in the chat right now. What up, Skills?
Right, so I used to cut, because I started off as a DJ, so I used to cut the last piece of chicken joint up, because I remember it was kind of the same sample as, I want to say My Thing by Steezo.
Okay.
It was like, I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, but I remember cutting that up. So I knew about them. Like I was definitely on board with that,
Yep. Yeah, Monch is a legend. He's one of my favorite MCs.
Yo, he's one of the most talented lyricists ever. You know, shout out to Farrell Monch. He's one of the most amazingly talented lyrical MCs ever.
And he is notoriously asthmatic. That's the other part of it. Like,
which is right, which is bananas, bro. Because like one of my favorite Pharaoh songs is his rendition of Welcome to the Terror Dome
from the Desire album, yeah, the Public Enemy cover.
That.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. I love the direction he took with it. I love how he incorporated a bit of the traditional element of it, but then he made it something completely different. And his delivery is crazy, bro.
Yeah, he's super ill.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to our second.
Okay.
DJ Premier sampled Mark Hannibal's "Forever Is a Long, Long Time." What's that? On a single for this rapper. So I will play you the sample, and you tell me which rapper sampled this. All right.
Okay.
Here we go. Is it Royce the 5'9", Nas, Fat Joe, or Mos Def?
That's
Once in a long, long time. What?
Play it one more time. Oh man, bro.
What do you think?
All right, I'm not certain.
Okay.
All right, so I'm using my lifeline option, and I'm gonna have a lot of faith in my room family, as I call them.
Yeah.
So,
your roommates, if you will.
Right, my roommates, and a lot of them are saying Royce the 5'9".
Okay. So that's what you're going with. You're going with the consensus of the room.
So I'm gonna put my faith in them. It's Royce because they say so.
Okay. Don't let him down, guys. Because this is episode 90. I've seen this take a turn. I've seen this take a wrong turn before. But I've seen artists get into real beef with their fans because of the show.
Oh man!
But
hell,
he's going Royce. Royce the 5'9".
Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. See,
not bad.
Right.
You guys are good, guys. I mean, you almost fell out of Mic Geronimo's graces here, but you're in good shape. you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
If I'm gonna go down, it's gonna be because of me.
Final question of our third round.
All right.
Little Lady Maria by the Ohio Players was sampled on a song from this artist's 1997 album. I will play you the sample in question here. Is it Wyclef Jean, Jay-Z, Capone Noriega, or Puff Daddy?
I think that's Puff.
You think it's Puff?
I think that's Puff.
All right. We're about to find out the answer here. My senorita.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Right?
What'd you say?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna say that you're doing great so far. Puff. I haven't revisited this album. This is a divisive album in the eyes of a lot of hip hop fans because this was sort of like a line in the sand around this time where it was like you're either with the fucking shiny suit shit or you're about the real shit, as it were. And I don't know if those divisions matter as much all these years later. But what was your take on it then? Obviously, you said that Bad Boy was family, but at the same time, it's like you're fucking Mic Geronimo, like lyrical, like right. So like, how did you sort of
Oh yeah,
walk
what are
that
you
line?
killing me? I got like a badger to no end about the shiny suit video. So like I had like a whole like brigade of people like, yo, how dare you put on a green shiny suit? But it's bug because like to me, bro, I never like I saw what he was doing, you know, and I think I kind of was like, I didn't so much look like in my own experience. I never said to myself, well, maybe people who like what you do don't think that you fit in with that. That's not at all anything that I had on my mind. I merely heard the beat, which honestly put, it wasn't even the beat he wanted me to do.
Mm.
Like he actually had the beat for Nothing Move But the Money ready for LL Cool J. Yeah. And he played me the beat that he wanted me to do. And I think he said something like he either wanted me to do it with Mace or it may have been that Mace had it and he was like, no, he wanted me to do it. But when he played it, it wasn't enough for me, I don't think. So I just at random was playing a CD that he had there. And I heard the beat for Nothing Move But the Money, and I was just like, yo, well, what about this one? And he was like, what about it? I was like, well, whose is that? And he was like, nah, that's LL's. He's like, why? I was like, damn, I'd use that. And he was like, you want to use that? Like he was shocked
Wow.
that I would even want to go there. And I was like, yeah, to me it sound right. Like I want to try it. And so he actually was excited that I even wanted to, I guess now in hindsight, me looking at it, I guess that seemed very different for an artist like me to want to do.
Right.
But again, it wasn't anything I thought about. And then just in the sense of all of it, like with the shiny suit era and the line figuratively drawn, like I think now if people look at it, there's kind of a feeling now where you're kind of like, okay, the ends justify the means, meaning yeah, you might not have agreed with it then, and you may have viewed it as though it were some sort of a threat to purity of hip hop or integrity in terms of street hip hop, but it wasn't at all the intent of it.
Right.
The intent was to push everything further, and the intent was to push everything bigger, so that the next wave does things that we didn't. You know, so, and sometimes it works and sometimes it's easier to swallow from certain artists and sometimes it's just not at all palatable to an artist fan base. And I think with me, um in one sense what it taught me was, as an artist, you kind of always are gonna want to try things that are outside the envelope, or they're not the norm for what your base would consider, but
Right.
you've got to kind of find a balance with how far and how fast. And I don't think anyone as an artist should ever limit themselves to what they do. I think that our job is to take people where they didn't think they could go. You know,
Great
so
answer. Great answer.
yeah, you know, so and you know, so there's that in that sense, but then there's also, if you aren't looking for anything to grow, then you're never going to try anything new.
Absolutely. And
So,
it's, you shouldn't operate from a place of fear or sort of conservatism when you're creating, because that is
exactly.
all about entering that flow state where you're like open to ideas and like and you're trying to do stuff that hasn't been done before. So that
Yeah,
totally
and
makes sense.
exactly, bro. And it's kind of like a world is flat mentality. Like,
Right.
imagine we just were like, okay, music is this, and we stay here, and we don't ever try to challenge the horizon, and we don't ever try to see past this.
Right.
And I think that that's the best part of being an artist, bro. The best part of being an artist aside from being able to give something to people, the best part is the fun in seeing how far you could take it and how far you can push it, and you know, where you play a part with it becoming the next level, you know. So I ain't mad at it. I like my shiny suit.
Do you still have a shiny suit in the crib? Do you get to take that home?
Not here, but like in the storage closet, yeah.
Okay.
I think.
So we'll look for that post maybe later on, you know.
It's reserved for certain situations, bro.
Absolutely. All right, we have reached our final round with Mic Geronimo. The final round is called Time's Up. This is our speed round. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to have 90 seconds to answer 5 questions, non-multiple choice, in the category of your choosing. Let's see what tonight's categories are.
Okay.
Let's talk about 90. Since this is episode 90, that's one of the options is let's talk about 1990. Second option is who's the last to rhyme. This is about posse cuts where, you know, sometimes you save that last person to clean up.
Right.
And then third option is car talk. Pretty self-explanatory. We're talking about car references in rap songs. So your choice, my friend.
Gang, what do I go with?
What do you guys think? He's a man of the people. He's, you know, he's open to suggestions.
Yo, More, you can't be in my head like that, because I actually was leaning towards that. All right, but I might not pick that.
Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch of different votes here. I mean,
I see a lot of. I'm seeing a lot of 90s. So okay, let's talk about the 90s.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the 90s then. That's what we'll do. So let me just go over some rules here for you. You're gonna have again 90 seconds to answer these 5 questions. Now, if you don't know the answer, you can say pass, and we'll go back to it. You know, like we'll skip it.
So it's like Family Feud, like the speed round in Family Feud.
We legally cannot say that. It might have attributes that seem similar,
or not at all like Family Feud, which we would never say.
Maybe, yeah. It's really impossible to say. We don't have the technology. So yes, you can pass. If you don't know, we'll come back to it. But if you answer incorrectly, that question is burnt. So you got to be careful with how you answer.
All right. So once you answer that, like that's it. There's no. All right, I got it.
Yeah. So you'll have 5 of these that you'll have to do, and if you don't know, you can say pass. But if you answer incorrectly, that you only get 1 shot at each question.
I'm ready.
As always, the chat is here to help you if you choose to rely on them. And I have OC, who we were talking about earlier. I have his classic song "Time's Up" here. And it is time to 90 seconds. So when we stop hearing the
I kind of figured always going to be involved somehow, some way. All right, so
Spidey sense was going off.
Nice.
All right.
Walk the walk.
So,
all right. Okay.
Mic Geronimo, we're going to talk 90s. We got 90 seconds on the clock. Oh, I didn't realize that. 90. Isn't that special?
Look at that.
90 seconds on the clock. You ready to do this?
I'm ready to do this, bro.
All right. Let me make sure I'm ready to do this. Yes, I am. Okay. Here we go. Talking 90s with Mic Geronimo. Let's go. What album did LL Cool J release in 1990?
Pass.
Okay, we're going to pass. Ice Cube first showcased this group on his 1990 solo debut, America's Most Wanted. Who was the group that Ice Cube sort of presented to the world on his first album?
The Lynch Mob.
The Lynch Mob is correct. All right. 1990 was the year Public Enemy dropped their 3rd album, Fear of a Black Planet. Name 2 of the singles from that album.
Welcome to the Terror Dome.
Yep.
By the time I get to Arizona.
We'll give you half credit on that. All right. This producer ghost produced on albums by Eric B. and Rakim, as well as Cool G Rap and DJ Polo in 1990. A producer who ghost produced on those albums.
Large Professor.
Large Professor is correct. Shout out to the Extra P. All right, finally, this New York DJ is the only other producer beside Marley Marl credited on Masta Ace's first album, released in 1990.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, this was a New York DJ who produced on Master Ace's first album. He was the only other person other than Marley Marl credited on Ace's first album.
Pass.
All right, he's going to pass. Going back, what was the LL Cool J album that he dropped in 1990?
In 1990.
1990. Our time is up. I'm going to let you slide this in. You can guess.
Walk Like a Panther.
It was not Walk Like a Panther. It was Mama Said Knock You Out. His fourth
Nah,
album.
but it's not, that was 1990?
1990, fam. I mean, it seems
It
like
was that
ages
close
ago.
to the 80s?
No?
Wow.
All right, listen. You did great. I'm gonna go. Let's go over the ones that you missed here. You were absolutely right. The Lynch Mob was the group that was featured on Cube's first album.
Right.
I'll give you half credit for the Public Enemy one. The singles were "Fight the Power," "Welcome to the Terror Dome," "911 is a Joke," "Brothers Go Working
Yo,
Out."
I forgot Fight. How could I forget the Fight the Power video? That was in Brooklyn. That was the illest video ever.
Mike, in 2021, we must never forget to fight the power.
What? You would think, right?
You would think.
Where am I with this right now? Terrible, bro.
Large Professor, you are correct, was ghost producing these classic albums, so you got that one right. Large Professor produced on Eric B. and Rakim's album as well as
I remember that. I remember that.
Then this New York DJ is the only other producer beside Marley Marl who was credited on Master Ace's first album. The answer is Mr. C. DJ Mr. C was...
Yo, I kind of wanted to say, but I should have went with my gut, bro.
Listen, I'm going to total up your score right now, but Mike, I want to let you know that no matter what happens here, you are a champion in our eyes. I contractually have to do that dance every time. Listen, while I total this up, and I'm terrible with math, so take your time on this. Now that you've done the show, the question I like to ask everybody when they come on the show, who would you nominate to come on next? Who's somebody that you know that you think we would have a similarly great time with? I'm assuming you had the best time of your fucking life doing this, so, you know, who would you recommend?
I'm going to say Nature from the firm. I'm going to say Nature.
Ooh,
I think Nature would enjoy himself on here. I think Nature would have a grand old time on here. Nature is a natural party motivator. You should get Nature to do this right now. Matter of fact, let me get the bat phone. Hold on.
Get my bat phone. Get him on. I think I might have seen him in the chat at some point.
I would think Flush would be a good guest too.
Flush would be amazing.
I think Capone would be a good guest too.
What was the last one you said?
Capone.
Capone. Oh my God.
Any of the three or all the three or yeah.
That would be great. So listen, Mike, I totaled up your score. By the way, guys, if you have questions for Mic Geronimo, drop in that question box. I know we've run a little bit past an hour, but maybe we'll
that's cool, bro.
All right. You scored. I'm rounding you up for the half credit on the P because you got one in there, and I'm not a fucking hater. You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
That's what's up. We all walking in the same park. Let's keep that in mind. One of us is after, you know. Yeah.
Your score is 13 out of 15. Let me tell you who
beat me.
That's amazing. Here are other previous guests on the show who've scored 13 out of 15. Let me tell you who you're in the league with here.
Okay.
Former guests include Questlove from The Roots. Just Blaze, who we mentioned earlier, was on the show.
Wait, are you saying I'm like in the same like tier?
Echelon.
Echelon? Yeah. I was gonna say Echelon, but I didn't want to sound so regal. But you said Echelon, so now we'll go with Echelon.
I have no problem sounding pretentious at any time. It's
Yo, count me in. So I'm on that.
I'm not even done yet. Let me tell you who else you're in the tier with. You're in a tier with legendary A&R Dante Ross. You're Big Les from Rap City. We had her on the show. Like, listen, you are in a great place. The 13 Club. 13 is not a lucky number, but 13 is a great place to be.
Like we're who's like above that club? Like who's like your all time? Like
It's like 13 is good, but like what more could I have done? So let me tell you, we've had 3 people in the history of the show score a perfect score, and that's 15 out of 15. And that was Headcrack, the MC producer slash radio personality. Headcrack has scored 15 out of 15. Mr. Len from Company Flow, the DJ and producer.
Right.
And also DJ Skiz, who is a producer and a DJ. He scored 15 out of 15. So 90 episodes, only 3 perfect scores. We also have had, in the 14 Club, we've had Merce, we've had DJ Babu from the Beat Junkies, Slim Kid Trey from Far Side,
Okay.
Lord Jazz from Lords of the Underground,
Okay.
Fonte from Little Brother, Foreign Exchange. So, you're in a good place.
What's important here is I didn't get a shellacking. Okay, that's what my old man would call it. He would say, "You got a shellacking."
No,
all right,
that did not happen to you.
No,
No,
it's the polar opposite. I could walk with my head high right now, bro.
Should we take a couple questions? Maybe we can grab a few.
Shoot.
Let's see what we got here from the chat. We'll see what came in here. Oh, it said that the questions were here, but now they just disappeared. Drop them again or put them in the chat, guys. I don't know what happened here, but it seems like the questions disappeared. While we wait for that to happen, what's next? What do you have on the agenda? Like, it's been a minute since you've dropped an album, and I don't know if there is an album coming up or not. Like, you tell me. What's the?
Well, no, I'm working now, like on a project that I'm doing. At some point, there's going to be a full length, but as of now, I'm just pretty much just building up my catalog. I'll be releasing 2 songs this month, which is cool. I'm putting out an EP project in the next couple of months. So, I'm just enjoying the process, and all of it will culminate in my last release, so.
Like you're aiming like this will be the final chapter, you mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
But I'm having the time of my life doing it, and I haven't felt this way since I was like 17 doing music. So I'm enjoying every part of it. I'm working with a great bunch of producers, and the music I'm getting is insane. A couple of guests that are going to come by and do their thing. And so I'm really excited, but you'll see 3016. That's the name of the project. So
I thought you meant the year it was dropping. I was like, Mike, that is unacceptable. We're not waiting until 3016.
Right?
Like, it's just not
right.
not cool, bro. Not cool.
No, we're gonna do it a little bit before that. A little bit before, just a little bit.
Guys, I don't know what's happening with it. I think Instagram is bugging, but I keep seeing that there are questions that are supposed to be in this little question box, but it's not letting me view them. So I think we may have to nix the Q&A element tonight.
That's so messed up. If you had questions out there and I didn't get it, then I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You can find him on Clubhouse if you know. You know.
You can log on Clubhouse, Twitter. It's what is it? At Real Mic Geronimo. On here, IG Mic Geronimo, Facebook, the fan page. You can go to the website, MicGeronimoMusic.com. Yeah.
Amazing. And listen,
there's ways.
I thank you so much for joining us. I feel like we started off just as chair bros, but at this point, it's deeper than that, Mike.
Look, man. I'll never feel the same. And see, you didn't take this off.
No.
See, you kept it on. That's it.
Real recognize real. And I think that whoever first said that statement may not have known that they were talking about this specifically, but they were.
I was going to say, you shoot, I'll grab the wheel. And what's cool about it is we actually have seats that work under grab the wheel conditions. So I think we're ahead of the game, bro.
We are. We definitely are.
Not just the hat rack. Not just the hat rack.
It's not just that. It's not just that. Thank you so much again. Really appreciate it. It's so great chopping it up with you.
No, I had a blast. So thanks for having me. And I'm really proud of my score. I'm looking really forward to rubbing this in people's faces tomorrow morning.
What time is it? Like, I don't know if I'm like breaking the code here, but like, what time is this?
We jump off usually at 9 a.m. but you could be like me. I come to breakfast late. I'm trying to like stop that.
Not 9 a.m. Eastern or 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Eastern.
Oh, you'll never see me.
No,
That's
but don't come in the room at 9 a.m. Like, don't. Chill out for a bit.
fashionably late. Stroll
Right.
into the
Get
park.
your bearings, bro. Eat a bagel. Come in the room, or
Okay.
don't. You
Or
know
do-
what I mean? Like,
I'll see what I can do.
yes.
Mike Geronimo, thank you so much. Have a great night. Peace.
Yo, peace, bro. Thank you.